What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, Chris Man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. My name again is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. I'm also working in sales, and I am proprietor of this podcast, which is about bringing individuals on to talk about their why and getting to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today. She has spent many years being a meteorologist throughout various stations. She is now based in Cleveland, Ohio. She now is a digital content creator for Department C, which is a communications team for NASA, talking about science and space. So, with that being said, her name is Meredith Garofalo, and she's going to be coming on here talking about her why amongst many things. So, I'm looking forward to talking to her. So, without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, the talented, the beautiful Meredith Garofalo.
Hi there, Chris. I
Hello.
can't hear you. Oh, there you are. Now I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just want to say, first off, thank you very much for hopping on my podcast with me. Work hard, play harder. You look absolutely lovely. I also want to say that as well.
Oh, thank you. Just a day in the office, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Before I start peppering you with all these questions, I kind of want to reiterate to you why I wanted to bring you on. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, and finally our schedules have definitely met up, which is great. But I
Yes.
know that you were a meteorologist for many years in various stations throughout your time, and I know that you now are a digital content creator for Department C, which I really would love to hear about that because I don't think I've ever met someone who works with space and science and NASA like that. I've never met anybody like that, so I'm definitely intrigued to hear
Cool.
about your job title now, but also want to talk about your days as a meteorologist as well, because I'm a journalist as well. So I would love to hear about
Right.
that and also inquire about who you are outside of the occupation. So I do have some fun, interactive questions as well. So we're going to have a really good time tonight for sure.
I'm excited. And I think you know my last name is Garfalo when you say it. The O is silent.
Yes, which I had to say it a few times because I
Okay,
was
good.
going to say Garfalo because I was saying Garoppolo, and I was saying that, and I was like, that sounds right, but I don't know if it is right, so I want to kind of ask her for sure. But Garfalo, that sounds perfect. I love
You're a
it.
journalist. You looked it up. I love it.
Absolutely, yes, indeed. So as I always do, Meredith, every guest that I have on here, I start with this question, and it is, what is your why? What is your why of doing what you do? Did you have any role models or inspirations growing up? But what is your why of getting involved with first meteorology and then kind of transitioning over to dealing with NASA in a communicator type role?
That's a great question. And I always love sharing my story because I think it gives hope to the little kids that are like 2 or 3 and they say, "Hey, mom," or "Hey, dad, I want to be an astronaut." Or for me, it was I wanted to be a meteorologist. But the reason for that was when I was 3, I overheard my mom telling the story of surviving the super outbreak of 1974. It was April 3rd and 4th. And she was in the tornado that was just outside of Xenia, Ohio, near Cincinnati. She survived the tornado. She told me the story of seeing it form across the street, how it touched down in the backyard. The house they were staying at is fine, but
Wow.
everything else on the street was wiped out. And I don't know what it was about that story, but it sparked something in me, right? And I'm a big believer in serendipity and things happening for a reason. And immediately I just wanted to, save lives and warn people of bad, nasty weather and storms. So I just starting as many books as I can for us older generations. I was watching the Nova videos and,
Wow.
trying to get
I
as much
remember that.
information about weather as I could. And yeah, then I just, my whole career I was focused on weather, but then in 2017 I did my first story that had a space angle, and I was reporting on the NOAA GOES satellite program. And these brand new weather satellites were being launched in the next decade within that time frame. The first one was already up there. The meteorologists in the Los Angeles National Weather Service office were using some of the preliminary data from the first one, GOES R, because they were
Okay.
going to get the next one, GOES S, which was the West Coast. And I had a lot of people in the community and in the science community say, wow, Meredith, like, you as a scientist are really good at reporting on space because you have that niche. And then I covered my first rocket launch in 2018, which is where I got the Rocket Girl nickname. And
Mm.
so I just realized that there wasn't a lot of science communicators like myself that could break down the science and STEM when it comes to the space industry. And so I kind of made that shift and started focusing on it since then.
I love that. That's great. Wow. Ever since 3 years old. That
Three.
is amazing. Absolutely amazing. No doubt about it. You went to Valparaiso, if I'm saying that right, college.
Valpo, yes.
Went there for college, which is in Indiana. I'm very familiar with that state for sure. Is that where you grew up, by the way, in Indiana?
No, I'm actually born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland on the south side.
Okay, I just wanted to I wanted to throw that out there. I love that, and I know one of y'all area codes is, if I'm not mistaken, Ohio 614. If I'm not mistaken,
I think that's Columbus, but that's
that's
still
Columbus.
Ohio. So yeah, 440 is my
Okay,
area code. So
got got
216 you got is the land. But
Yep,
yeah,
yep, absolutely. I was going to say 216 after that because I'm very fond of Cleveland as well. I've only been there once, but the one time that I was there, it was nothing but love. I definitely want to come back for sure. And obviously, when I do
yeah,
come
you
back
got someone
now,
to call now for lunch. So there you go.
there you go, there you go. So now, when I do touch down, I definitely got to come see you for sure. That's for sure. Okay, well, here's my question though about college. Were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to Valpo other than Valpo? Was there any other schools that you applied to that you might have wanted to go to?
There was Penn State.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Now tell me about that. Tell me about, like, what made you want to choose Valpo instead of Penn State?
You know, I really liked Penn State, but I had went to a smaller high school, a small Catholic high school, and so I kind of wasn't as into the big college scene. But I loved Penn State when I went there. But also, when you're starting at Penn State in the meteorology program, I would have had to start at more of a sister campus, and there wasn't as many scholarships that was available as Valpo. And I have to say, they always go to college home. And I remember the Falco and what it was, it just felt really quaint. It felt comfortable. And there's just a special feeling about it. And actually, at one of the focus groups, I met my roommate that day for my freshman year. She was also a meteorology major. So the
Wow.
stars kept aligning and it made sense to go to Valpo.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna ask you some favorite things, Meredith. Okay, so you just give me the 411 off the rip,
Ready?
based upon some of these favorite things. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Chris. Let's do this.
Okay, let's rock with it. Favorite meal you like to cook?
I do like to cook, but I also love to eat. My mom's stuffed peppers over rotini.
Wow, I can honestly say I've never had a stuffed pepper in my life. Never have.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, you need to get a stuffed pepper.
yeah, I've never had a stuffed pepper. Listen, Meredith, I'm pretty basic. Tacos, spaghetti, chicken. Most of us fellas, we like to grill, not so much cook. I mean, there is, no, I'm not going to put down male cooks out there. There is men that can definitely cook very well, but I'm so simple with my stuff. And plus, I'm a journalist. I want to make something I got to be on the go. I'm a sports journalist. I don't get home till super late. So if I want to make
Got it.
something, got to be fast. Okay. But I love that
I
stuff.
get it. I totally get it. That's why it's
I'm
my
with you.
mom's recipe because she cooked that for me all the time growing up.
I love that. Okay. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh, and I have to say, it's a good mix between Journey and Santana at Jones Beach on Long Island.
Wow. Okay. Now, Journey is definitely one of my favorite groups, and who doesn't like the guitar of Santana? I mean, Santana is one
Oh,
amazing guitarist, no question about it.
well, the
Okay.
cool part was there was a moon rising when he played Black Magic Woman. So you can imagine he's Black Magic Woman, full moons rising over the amphitheater. Oh man, I think that sold me. It was so freaking cool.
Okay. I love that. I love that. I don't think nobody's mentioned those artists since being on this platform, so that's pretty cool. Journey and Santana. Okay. Here we go. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I've obviously lived all over the country for my job. You know what? I have to say Hawaii. It was so
Oh, wow.
incredible out there. It was beautiful. Just a different culture. Like you just weren't stressed when you were in Hawaii, like you are in the this 48, the lower 48, I guess I could say.
Absolutely. Now, did you go to Maui or Honolulu, or what part of Hawaii did you go to?
I was at the Big Island. I just know it's a Big Island. I can't remember the name, but it was pretty cool.
Okay, I got you on that. I've been to Honolulu and Maui as well for Hawaii. Both of those were family trips, so that was pretty fun. Pretty fun. I like that. I'm a sports person, so I gotta ask you: favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They could be the same sport.
All right. Favorite sport I like to watch on TV, the Cleveland Browns. Woof woof. And
Okay,
favorite team to go see in person are my hometown, my Cleveland Guardians, or formerly the Cleveland Indians.
absolutely right. I mean, obviously, my first time ever knowing about a Cleveland Indian was Major League.
Yes.
And obviously that's a classic movie. For those that don't know, y'all need to YouTube it because it's a classic movie. There's no question about it. So I love that. I dig that. How you think your Browns going to do this Sunday against those Cowboys? They're coming up there. It's going to be a really, really good game.
I think it is going to be a really, really good game. And I think you kind of tell her for the season. So I'm excited because I feel like we're starting to build energy again, but there's always that first game nerve. But I'm going for the win. Good old W with my boys.
Okay, okay. I feel that. I feel that. You got to rep your hometown. I love it. And last of the favorite,
Mhm.
and I definitely need this one from you, is favorite restaurant to eat at. Because, like I said, when I do touch down in the 216 again in Cleveland again, I got to know where to go to eat.
Oh my gosh, there's so many great places in Cleveland. And it's fun because I'm from here, but I moved away from my career for like 20 years, including college. And now I'm back and I'm rediscovering it. But I would have to say, if you like, oh man, this is tough because I've literally eaten at so many really good places. I will say the best happy hour, though, in Cleveland, and the food's fantastic, is Pier W. It's right on the lake.
Okay.
And it starts at 4:30, but people actually get there at 4 to line up. That's how good the happy hour is. Not just the prices, but the food. I mean, they have like clam chowder. They have the best Caesar salad that I had. I know it's
Mhm.
like your typical American cuisine. There's a lot of other good, heritage places around here. But I have to say, like that place, it's so fun. And you have a view of the lake. Can't beat that.
Yeah, absolutely. You had me sold when you said happy hour. So you didn't need to say nothing else to
Yes.
me. I was with it. I was already with it. So absolutely, and that would definitely make me happy with some of the foods you just said. So that a Pier W, I will keep that in mind. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's talk about your day to day, right? Because it differentiates from probably what you did with a station of meteorology. Talk to me about what do you do within Department C as a digital content creator for talking about and doing stuff with space and science and for NASA.
Sure, I'm happy to share that. Well, the cool thing is since I left TV, I started an LLC, so I've become a business owner, and I'm doing a lot of contract work, which is nice. And so I'm able to utilize all the different things that I'm good at. My TV background, public speaking, editing, social media creation, and I get to, pick and choose companies that I get to be a contractor for. So with Department C, it's great. They have a contract with NASA, and so what I get to do is I get to help put together different projects, whether it's interviewing a scientist on a certain mission to do a Q&A,
Hmm.
or it's creating some exciting social posts. Like I helped do a bunch of social posts about back to school and how educators can get kids excited about science and how parents
Absolutely.
can get their kids excited about science and do NASA missions for the year. But I also get to do writing. I get to write features and that get published on NASA's pages. I get to help, coordinate some different ideas of, how to do really good storytelling in science. And the great thing is I'm working with a team. So I'm individual with my content creating, but I'm part of their team as a contractor to help put everything together. So it's really cool with that. And then I also get to freelance for space.com, which is fantastic because I get to combine my love for with space and science. And then another thing that I do is I'm a science mentor for journalists that are writing about science, health, space topics. So it's different than what I was doing before, but I love the flexibility because, as I'm sure we'll talk about, it's really allowing me to enjoy my life without being on the go, as with the TV
Yeah.
industry 24/7 and not being able to turn your life off at any point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime that you're reporting, I do sports. That's my genre. And anytime sports is nights and weekends predominantly. So you're out covering games. I'm writing feature articles. I'm writing all kind of different kind of articles. But I'm also editing photos, and I'm doing it on a consistent basis every time I work. It's a fulfilling job because number one, you never do anything the same. Every day is something new. Every day is something
Right.
exciting. But that is the A side. And that's really why I love having podcasts like this and really love having guests like you on, because they do talk about the A side, but we also want to focus on the B side, which is a great segue to this next question. And that is work life balance. When you're always on the go and you're working with these stations, sometimes you have to sign these contracts. Sometimes you have to be in those contracts for 2 or 3 years. You got to work different kind of hours. They're not very business-like, from 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Sometimes you're working some really crazy type hours. But then it's also a job where you got to try to find likewise people as well sometimes, right? Meaning that you got to find friends that might go along with your schedule because you don't go along with their schedule of a business life. Talk to me about your work-life balance when you was a meteorologist as opposed to now, or what you do now. Because like you said, now you have the flexibility a little bit more. So talk to me about how you tried to maintain a good work-life balance, but also maintain good mental health, because burnout is something that's also something that is kind of synonymous with our industry as well. A lot of people do get burnt out.
Chris, you hit it on the head. And, I think if you ask any of us who have stepped away from full-time television, I mean, that's the biggest problem. Is it's like, yes, this is a great job. We're serving the community. We're talking about sports or weather or reporting on stuff, but
Absolutely.
you find yourself, and it's funny because I'm actually writing a book that's going to come out, I hope, next year, and I do have a whole
Okay.
chapter dedicated to talking about a life in television, because I really don't think people that are not in it understand what we go through.
They can.
Because I can't tell you how many funerals, weddings, family events,
That you meant.
vacations I've had to give up because my boss called me in because it's the middle of hurricane season and I have to cover, some tornado outbreak that's happening. I
Right.
mean, and the thing is, you can't just say no. And
Right.
especially back when I was starting, you know, there was a lot of things that, treatment behind the scenes where it's like, well, if you're going to try to take all these days off, like, I don't know if we're keeping a job for you. Mental health days weren't back then. And it was tough. I will say there were I was probably at the best points of my TV career, my highlights. I was at the worst with my mental health and my emotional health because I was sacrificing so much. Instead of going out on a date and enjoying myself, I'd be on my phone trying to get updates on a storm system that was coming in, or my boss was emailing me and I was trying to be out with my girlfriends, or I would go out with my friends to happy hour and then get a call. I'd have to come in and do the news. And it's like, what
Yeah.
am I supposed to do? But the thing is, most managers never understood and were like, it's like, you either do this or, you're not going to succeed. And I think the mindset, and I'm sure you can agree, coming into the business when we were a lot younger is you need to do this if you want to be successful. And then the older you get and the more experience you get, you realize I don't have to do that. I can make choices. And you know what? If somebody doesn't care about my mental health, then I don't want to be working for that company anyway.
Right.
But I mean, thankfully, I was smart. I mean, I had a lot of things I worked out with a therapist, and I do suggest if people are going to be in a career where you're dealing with mental health, it's okay. I'm proud to admit my therapist probably saved my life a lot of times in my mental health just by
Mhm.
having somebody that wasn't in the business, that didn't know me personally, that I could just sit and vent and have them say, "Hey, that's not healthy behavior." And I think a lot of times we have our friends or colleagues that say, "Oh, you're going to get through this. It's going to be okay." But it's not if you don't take a second and you take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And that's a terrific answer, Meredith. It really is. And I appreciate your transparency for opening up about that, because a lot of people do try to keep that silent, right? Especially about going to see a therapist. Sometimes you need outside people, outside of your loved ones, to talk to, because you know how your loved ones are going to be. They're going to be your ride or die. But you can come to them and you can tell them what's going on. But like you said early in your soliloquy, you're not going to understand unless you're really in my shoes. You're not going to understand this business. And that's what
Right.
I mean by say about the A side and the B side. You really have to be dedicated and love what you do to be in this business. And I certainly love what I do, but I do understand the mental health part. When you talk about when you're out with your friends, there's been several times in the combination of being in Atlanta, Georgia, and now here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, not Minneapolis, but Minnesota. Um, I've been called and been like, Chris, we need you to go cover a game. And I was told I was going to be off that day. But I'm over here and I'm about to get the party started. I'm about to turn up. I'm about to do my thing, and I get the call to go in. Or I get to jobs and they say, and it's just a pivot. Oh, well, even though we said you were doing this, you're going to be doing this. And it's something that you do with professionalism, but then at the same time, because I got started late in this business, Meredith, I did. I'm an 80s baby, late 80s baby. So I got started in this business a little bit late. And because I was wanting to be a teacher, a math teacher, because I thought I could make an impact and I wanted to really make an impact in kids' lives. But I saw that I needed to take calculus and I was like, hell no, I can't do that. So
You
I
made a smart
pivoted.
choice. I was terrible at calculus. Terrible.
I pivoted really fast. I was like, okay, this is not for me. I got to find something. But communication and talking on the radio and doing things, covering games and trying out different things to see what I like to do and what I didn't like to do. And I found this industry that I really like to thrive in. But again, that mental health is important. You have to find the right company, balance, people that care about your well-being and not just about their bottom line.
It's
And
tough,
that's
Chris. It's really tough. I mean, I have worked at so many stations and companies, and I work for some great companies, but I also worked for some companies that, you know, if I had to take time off because somebody was passing away, they would be texting me to see, "Oh, do you have any updates?" Like, "Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to die." I mean, that's what happened when my father passed away. It was awful.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that, and God rest his soul. My condolences to your family for that. You did say something though that before I touch on to the next question that really stuck with me as well, and that is the fact of when you said that the flexibility and being able to understand that you don't have to do that when you get older. I think a lot of people, Meredith, when they graduate college and they're in their 20s and, and vibrant and, just like we all were when we were in our 20s, vibrant, thinking,
Right.
oh my goodness, we got a lot of time. I'm just going to be on the go, go, go. But as you do get older and you do start going into your 30s, life starts to slow down for you. And you're like, okay, wait a
Right.
minute. I want to do A, B, C, and D. And I can't do that with the structure I have in place, which means I'm going to have to make some difficult, decisive decisions. And as an older adult, you just do that. You realize that, hey, you know what? And I don't have to do this to be happy, fulfilling my destiny or fulfilling what I feel like is what
Right.
my calling is. And I love that you said that because you're absolutely right. And sometimes it does. Do you think that you have to go through, this is kind of a bonus question. Do you think you have to go through like living a little bit for you to be like, okay, life is starting to slow down for me. I can start making these kind of decisions and be confident in doing it? Because sometimes there's a lack of confidence when you're younger. You're just on a go, 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 and you're in prove it mode.
I think so, Chris. And sometimes it's also a life-changing moment that makes you realize, like, I can't do this anymore. And don't get me wrong, my TV career, 16 amazing years. I mean, the
Sure,
ups, the downs, the ugly.
sure.
I loved my TV career and I still get to freelance, which is a nice balance now.
Yep, which
But
I do too.
I'd have to say it was several years back that my dad was sick. He was in his last, 6 months. I was in working in, there was a toxic work environment that one of my managers had created. It got really bad. And then, 2 weeks before my father passed, I was in a car accident. Somebody hit me on one of the parkways in New York, and I
Wow.
ended up having to have neck surgery from it. And that happened. I had to move. I was not in a good situation in the place that I was renting. And all of this came down and happened within a month. And I really feel like also God was like, okay, Meredith, you need to pay attention. Your life needs to go in a different direction. And I
Sure.
prayed and I meditated. And then after my father passed, and I saw things much clearer and realized how short life is.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to miss another cousin's wedding.
Yeah.
I didn't want to move around again and take another job just to take another job. I had already accomplished everything I wanted to. Worked in my hometown of Cleveland. I worked in New York City. I got an Edward R. Murrow Award. I'm happy and satisfied. So why don't I give myself another chance at life and do what I love, but look for something that's going to allow me to have the work-life balance? And the fact that I still have the chance to do TV work is perfect. And I think a lot of people don't realize that if you're choosing to pursue another career because you want that freedom and that health because you're not getting it from where you're at, it's okay. And you can still find ways to satisfy your soul. Sometimes it just takes balancing things and having a lot of extra faith.
Absolutely. On here with the beautiful, talented ex-meteorologist, but now digital content creator, Meredith Garofalo. Did I say that right?
Garfalo, very
Garofalo.
Italian.
Okay. Garofalo. Garofalo. On here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. This is a great segue of a question again, and it has to do with advice. If someone came up to you right there in Cleveland, in the land, and said, Meredith, I would like to talk to you. I would like to get some advice from you because I want to do what you do. I want to do what you did. I want to be that meteorologist on TV. I want to be that digital content creator. What kind of advice would you give them, that individual?
Well, first off, I would say I love it that you have a dream, and I would probably tell them to give me a high five, especially if it's a little kid, because I love bringing that good energy out there. But
Hmm.
I would say you need to understand that anything in life that you want bad enough is not going to be easy. There are
Mm.
going to be easy moments. There are going to be times that you're like, okay, that wasn't so hard, or hey, I got through the first couple of years of my career, I'm fine. But then you're going to have moments where you're unsure of yourself, or you run into a bully or a toxic environment or a toxic coworker. And it doesn't matter whether it's television or whether it's doing something like contract work. You're always going to find those moments that are challenging, and you need to
Without
have a
question.
plan in place to do a couple of different things. One, first and foremost, you have to keep the faith, trust God, know it's all going to work out in the end. And if the signs continue to point for you to stay where you're at, that's one thing. But if you're getting red flag after red flag in your life, that's going to be a sign to move on. But one of the things about having a dream, especially when you're younger, is you're going to achieve it. And I know people are like, oh, well, I don't know about anything you want. But I believe it's true because I
Right.
wrote stuff down in high school that I wanted to accomplish by the time I turned in the next, what, 20, yeah, 25 years. And here I am. And literally, I think there's one thing on that list I didn't check off, and I still can do it in life. So if you have the mindset that you can do it, you have the support system, whether it's teachers, mentors, friends, colleagues. You have to surround yourself with positive people, and you have to take time every day for yourself and tell yourself you can do it. And if you're not doing okay, it's okay to admit that. And that's
Mm.
where a good therapist comes in, or a good mentor where you can go and talk to them, because you just can't ever give up on yourself. And I always like to say, anything is possible, and the galaxy is your limit. You just have to be willing to go amongst the stars to write your legacy.
Absolutely. I love that. I really do. That's a wonderful answer. You gave great answers all so far. I know talking with the high schools out here, as I call them young boys now, which I'm like, Lord have mercy, these guys are a little young to me. Talking with them because they have questions about journalism and stuff like that. And I just tell them that, listen, if you're going to pursue this business, pursue it with all your heart. But that's just not this business. That's any business that you decide to do. Just pursue it with all of your heart. Don't half-ass anything, because in life, that's not what life is about. Life is about giving it your all to what you love to do.
Amen.
So I want you to do that, and I tell all the boys that I cover in these different sports, just have fun. No need to grow up fast. Go to college. College is not about just having a good time, but which you are going to have it because we all did when we went to school. But at the same time, you want to find out what you want to do, because colleges now is even more business-like than what they used to be. It's about finding out what you want to do. Some people don't need college to do that, but it's best that you just find out what you want to do, and then when you want to do it, pursue it with everything that you have. But understand, like you said, hardship is going to come, right? I'm a huge spiritual type of guy. I believe that a struggle is inevitable, and there's just no way you can get around that.
Right.
Everybody has different struggles that they're going to deal with. I think it marks the person's character on how they build upon that struggle, how they react to that struggle. Do they bounce back? Do they have that resiliency, or do they just let it break them down to the point where they fold? I just choose not to fold in any kind of thing like that, and I always advocate that to other people. So I love that answer. I really do.
And I think you have to know that part of life is hitting rock bottom at some
It
points.
is.
I mean,
It is.
life's like a wave. And sometimes your waves, you might be higher than ever before, but you're going to have your lows. And I
Yep.
think it's at those points you need to know who the people are you can trust, because having a good support system, like you said,
Yeah.
you're going to have those struggles, but you can't do it alone. As much as you want to, trying to never do something alone. There will be at least one other person that can hold your hand.
Absolutely. No question. And now it's time for another fun interactive game. And this is called
Uh-oh, okay.
this is called This or That. And what this is, Meredith, is basically I'm going to throw a couple things out at you, and you get to choose this or that. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Chris.
Okay, so here we go. First one is KFC or Popeyes?
Popeyes.
Now I know we can vibe together, girl. I know
Yes.
we all on a great start, girl. We all on a great start. Okay, here we go. This next one here has to do with chicken wing flavors. Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
I had to say, do you like your wings? Because then when I said, do you like it wet or dry? I had a couple guests
Yeah.
on here was like, what?
I get you. I get you.
I was like, okay. But do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Boneless.
Yep, we vibing right now. We vibing. We're gonna see if this continues. We're gonna see. It always starts off well. We're gonna see if it continues. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, sports players. Which one would you choose, or would you rather? I would say go attend and watch and see. Would you rather go see LeBron James, or would you rather go see Bernie Kosar?
Bernie Kosar.
Wow, look
I
at
know. I
you.
knew we wouldn't agree with that one, but
Okay. No, listen, I'm totally, listen, I know Bernie. I understand. The dog pound is serious out there. The Cleveland fans are really serious. That dog pound is for real. Okay.
yes.
Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling.
Are you a good bowler?
Depends on the day and how many glasses of wine I had.
No, Meredith, we might have to put that to the test now because I throw a good ball. I'm just saying.
All
I thought
right, all right.
I thought it was the ball. I'm just saying. Okay.
But it's got to be real bowling, not Wii bowling. It's got to be
Oh,
in there, bowling
you
shoes
okay?
for
Okay.
real.
So you trying me? Okay, I see what you said. You said we both. Okay, I like it. I like it. Here we go. Next four questions have to do with music concerts. Okay, so here we go. Which music concert would you rather attend? Would you rather go see Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs?
Luke Combs.
You were definite about that. Luke is pretty
Oh, I
good.
have I have official cowboy boots from Texas. I would totally go to Luke Combs.
Okay, yep. And listen, I don't listen to a lot of country. I'm going to be straight up honest with you on that. But Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen are two artists that I get down to. They're two
All
of the
right.
best.
Okay.
No, okay, here we go. Which artist would you rather go see in concert? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Drake.
Wow. Okay. That's the first one that we've actually disagreed upon so
Okay.
far.
We
That's
had
okay.
to at some point, right?
We had to. Yeah, we had to. I had to throw it out there, but that's okay. Listen, we be robots and we agreed on everything. So I understand. I get it. Here we go. Next concert is which concert would you rather attend? Casey Musgraves or Carrie Underwood?
Ooh, that's a good one. Casey Musgraves.
I am shocked on that one. I did not see that one coming. I thought you would pick Carrie. Okay. I like
I
it
don't know.
though.
I've liked her. I like Carrie's music, but Casey's some of her recent songs have been really good.
She is definitely talented. There's no question about that. Okay. Last one of the music. Which artist would you rather go see? Lady A or Zach Brown Band?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Do I have a time?
Yes, it
Well, I
is.
guess I have. I think Zach Brown Band.
You redeemed yourself. So that's all that
Very
matters.
good.
Okay, here we go. I'm a huge Zach Brown fan, obviously from Chicken Fried. That's somebody I've been following them ever since then. So
Oh yeah, great song. Excellent
huge
song.
fan. Huge fan.
Little bit of chicken fried. Don't get me going.
I know, right? I know. You're probably hey, I understand. I totally get it. Here's the next one. Do you like desserts?
Sometimes.
Okay. So here's my thing. I want to throw out four different dessert categories to you. And what you're going to do is choose one that you'll never eat again. Okay. So
Okay.
here we go. The first one here is cookies. The next one is cake. The third one is candy. The last one is ice cream. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Candy.
Yeah, Meredith, we gonna be good. We gonna be good.
Okay,
We gonna be good, yo. We gonna be good. I'm already feeling good about you right now. I'm already feeling good. Here we go. We got two more for the this or that because I would have chose candy too, and preface this because I can't give up red velvet cake. That's my favorite, red
Ooh,
velvet.
that's a good one.
I cannot give up ice cream, cookies and cream, and chocolate chip cookie. Though is my two favorite.
Peanut
Um,
butter chocolate here for sure.
okay, totally understand that. And then I can't give up cookies because I'm chocolate chip and I'm double stuffed Oreos. Really love
Oh my
those.
God. Do you remember EL Fudge? Those are my favorite from way back in the day. Double
Hmm
fudge, forget it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. My goodness. Okay. It's so refreshing to meet somebody else who likes double fudge. It's refreshing.
Mhm.
Love it. Okay. This or that, two more. This next one has to do with sports. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Rather watch basketball or would you rather watch hockey?
Oh, basketball. I have to be in the stadium for hockey. Have to.
Got I got you. Okay. I love that. Last one for the this or that. Do you eat potato chips?
I do.
Okay, so this is the same format. Okay, I'm gonna throw four brands out. You got to get rid of one of these brands you'll never eat again. Okay, so here we go.
All
And
right.
and mind you, one of the brands is not Cheetos, so don't worry about
Okay.
that.
All
Okay,
right. Good.
first one is Ruffles. The next one is Doritos. The next one is Lay's. The last one is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Ruffles.
Oh hell no! She just say, did you just say ruffles? Oh my Lord.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness, Meredith. Okay, let me ask you this, because you're not the only one that has said this, but I want to see if this is true. Do you like salt and vinegar chips?
Love salt and vinegar chips.
Every freaking body that has gotten rid of Ruffles loves salt and vinegar chips. Everybody does. And let me tell you, those are the second worst chips ever made.
Oh, boo! Now we're definitely gonna do one.
You see what I'm saying? See, and people
I
like,
do. I do.
yeah, second worst ever made. They say, what's the worst chip that you've ever tried? The worst chip I ever tried is Funyuns.
Oh, that's nasty. Yeah.
Right. I'm so okay. The reason why I say the Ruffles and I said what I said before I get to the next question, I'm a huge sour cream and onion Ruffles person. Cheddar, sour cream and cheddar. That's my favorite chip of all time. When they came out with the barbecue in those and they combined the two flavors, they couldn't do no wrong in my eyes. They just couldn't do it. I absolutely loved it. So that's just me. But I rock with you. I still rock with you. But that hurt a
All
little
right,
bit.
good.
It cut me a little deep, Meredith. That did, no question. But you were still
It's my
great.
Cleveland roots, right?
It is, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Um, this next question I love to ask all people, especially meteorologists. I want you to tell me, like, rank your like 1 to 4 as far as the natural disasters. What was your favorite natural disaster that you like to cover? Like, and you can go from snowstorms or tropical rainstorms, earthquakes, tornadoes, mudslides. I mean, anything that you want to rank. But I always love asking meteorologists that because I think y'all crazy as hell for going out there in the weather anyway. But somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. So tell me, what was some of your favorite from 1 to 4?
And I have to disclose, I always hate covering damaging events because it's always a heartbreaking thing. But from the
Yeah,
science standpoint, first off, I love covering tornadoes. I really, when I was working for Weather Nation, the national network, when I was in Denver, all the time, and our lead meteorologist, David Neal, taught me how to specifically look at a radar and find the rotation and be able to spot it or see something forming before it was happening. And I just really loved it because it was really fun sometimes to see and spot tornadoes forming on the radar before the warning was issued and tell people like, this is likely going to be a tornado and have
sure.
it actually happen. So tornadoes are number one.
Okay.
Number two, I mean, definitely hurricanes, because I know people really rely on meteorologists to cover that. I was out in the storm for not this tropical storm Debbie, but tropical storm Debbie way back in like 2012, I think. And
Okay.
I don't know, it was just kind of a rush to be in all these different things that were happening outside that were crazy. I mean, I was always safe about it, but that would have to be number two.
Okay.
Three, I would have to say like wildfire weather, because it's not
Wow.
the typical thing. But when I was working at Weather Nation and also when I worked in California, it was very fun learning how to forecast the fire weather, because fires make their own weather, which is why a lot of times you'll see like those fire nados, or sometimes you'll see those pyrocumulus clouds that blow up. So that was kind of fun because that was a new challenge for me to learn how to forecast that.
Sure.
And I think the last thing, um, I don't like winter storms just because snow is like, so we're gonna leave all that cold stuff off. But I think the fourth is, I don't know if we can call like celestial events. Like I loved covering the eclipse in 2017.
Oh yeah.
Like it was so fun to help, and maybe that's where my space stuff was starting to come in together, because it was really fun to find different ways to combine science with what was happening in space. And when the actual event was happening, I was live on the air. We were talking to people. We were watching the path of totality across the United States. And it was just such a rush. And it's so cool to see people from across the country just experiencing it.
Now you definitely talk my language when you said wildfires, because I grew up in California. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, San Diego was the city where I grew up. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. That's where my mother and dad was born and raised as well. My dad went into the Navy, so he relocated us out into California, which was San Diego. And I remember there were times where we had to put like bandanas on our face because the clouds were so black from the smoke. And we lived in the urban kind of area. We didn't live in an inland kind of area where a brush fire, if you get one fire across them leaves and trees, it can go for a long time. So I definitely know about the wildfires for sure. And now being in Minnesota here, I learned about a snowstorm because prior to that, I had never seen snow in my life. And I was like, this is crazy. But it's really not even the snow, Meredith. It's much more the wind chill and the negative temperatures of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
something else. Like it was the first time in my life where I moved to a place where I had to really make business decisions on what to bring into the house and what the hell to leave in the car because I wasn't going to keep going back
Yeah,
out
and
there.
I hope your scraper was one of them. And that was one of the things I always, maybe people don't say this often enough, but bring the scraper in the night before a snowstorm, otherwise you kick your butt in the morning.
Well, I wish I
I'm
would have
sure
had
that
you.
brings back memories.
I wish I would have had you as a friend at that time to let me know. But I was coming. I was coming from Georgia, and I had no scraper, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll snow a little bit. They were just laughing at my jackets. The wind, the weather out here was laughing at my Georgia jackets, and it was like crazy. So it was like, oh boy, let me go to Walmart and get a scraper. I do have one now, which is
Good.
great. But at the time, no, I I was making up stuff. I brought out a broom to wipe some of the snow stuff off. I cut the car on and turned the heat all the way on and let it just kind of just melt. Like I had to make up things because it was just my first winter storm and I wasn't prepared.
Sure. Gotcha.
But yes, my next question to you would be about advice again. Now, this is now advice that someone has gave you. What is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
And especially in the TV business, I'm sure you can agree with this one, but Rich Apuzzo, who was my mentor, unfortunately, he passed away from brain cancer, but he was a chief meteorologist at Fox Cincinnati. He went to my college. And one thing he told me, because I had an incident in my first station that I didn't work out and I was fired. And he told me, Mayor, like, you're nobody in this business if you're fired at least once. And you know what? It made me feel better because other people and I went when I went through my career that went through that, it kind of puts into perspective that this is a personality driven business and you could be really good at your job. And if your boss doesn't like you, they can just fire you. And I think that was some really good advice that he gave me. And I think the other advice was, just to keep having thick skin, even in moments where somebody says something that nobody else is telling you. It's one person. But sometimes you can have the best day and 10 amazing emails and get one horrible email and it just brings you down. And you have to, in the back of your mind, tell yourself, like, don't let this one person ruin your life.
I totally understand that. I do not pity sometimes the ladies that go on TV. They've been on my platform here on my Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, and they've told me they've gotten some emails that people write about their hair, their makeup, or the fact that they wore a dress twice in the same week. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
and us guys, we would probably wear the same dress shirt as well in the same day, but we don't get talked to about that. So I totally understand that. Having that thick skin, being in this business is definitely key as well. And you brought up another great point, which is no matter what, there's always going to be somebody at some stop, at some job that's going to dislike you for some silly, what reason. They just always
Yep.
going to, every single job that you have, whether it's in this business or out of this business, they're just going to dislike you. And you're like, you know what? You are not going to steal my joy today. Mm-mm. You ain't going to ever steal my joy. So and you've been doing a great job, obviously, as I've watched your reel prior to coming on here as well. And you've done some really, really cool things in the TV business. I know you're doing some great things right now as well. What is some future goals for you, Meredith? What are some future goals as far as maybe things that you want to cover? Like you are a freelance person. Is there maybe like a carpet show, a red carpet show that you would like to cover? I certainly wouldn't mind seeing you on that. And I think you would do an amazing. I think you would do an amazing job talking to people because you obviously do. But is there some kind of events of a bucket list that you have?
Well, first and foremost, I want to sing the national anthem at the Browns game because that's my hometown boys. So I'm working on that. Hoping to do that.
Okay.
The second one's a little bit bigger. I really would like to be the first female meteorologist in space, doing one of those trips, a shorter trip, of course. I don't want to go up there and get stuck. Uh, but I would love to get up there to do maybe a weather or space weather report and sing our national anthem. I think that would be an ultimate really cool assignment that I would love to go on and, just use my platform like so many of my other friends that in the space business that have gotten that opportunity to really inspire and motivate young women, especially.
Sure.
But other stories like, actually the CMAs would be fun to cover with my country passion to be able to go out there. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it would be really cool one time to go and do like the red carpet. And, I'm a fashionista, which you probably have seen from my social media. I have my own dress the weather hashtag. I would just love to like go get my gown and just be out there and talking to people and maybe just have like a motivational segment where everyone I talk to in the car, I just ask them motivational tips instead of what they're wearing or who they're wearing. Maybe just do a little segment on just motivation from the stars
No, I
from
listen.
Rocket Girl.
I totally, like I said, when I said beautiful, I wasn't trying to just trying to be complimentary. I really think that you would be on that red carpet doing your thing with the CMAs, talking to different people, different celebrities that's attending, different musicians that's attending. That's why I said something like red carpet, because I think I could totally see you doing that. How cool as hell would that be for you to be up in a spaceship doing weather up there? That would be so amazing. I mean,
Right?
that is cool. That would really be dope. That would be some dope stuff to do. I would be like, man, I talked to her and look at her. She's up in space doing her thing. I'm like, man, I don't think I've ever in my lifetime would have met nobody who ever would have went to space. Right? You read about it, but you don't never ever would meet anybody like that. So I think that would be pretty cool of a thing for you to do. And I think you would excel in that very much.
Well, if I get enough sponsors to help, I think we can make it come true. So it's definitely something that's going to be on my radar, no pun intended, over the next 5 years, because I know
I
there
love
are
that.
ways that you can get organizations to support. So I'll keep you posted.
Absolutely. Please do. And I'm a huge karaoke guy. I love karaoke, and I love the fact that you wanted to sing at your national anthem at the Cleveland Browns. And I hope the Cleveland Browns let you come and do that because I'm sure you have a wonderful voice. And I like to think I have somewhat of a good voice as well because I'd like to do karaoke for sure. So, yes, absolutely. I would love that. Love to hear you do that for sure.
Awesome.
So, with that being said, we're going to come down to the last question before I let you get out of here. And this last question is always the simple question that I like to ask, and that is there anything else, Meredith, that you would like to add to add before we conclude this conversation?
I think I would love to see changes in the TV business, in the news industry, where more people didn't want to leave. But the fact of the reality is, for a lot of people, the pay is just not where it needs to be. There's treatment that's happening and people that are getting away with things with the whole, toxic work environments. And until there's a big revolution and a change, I think more and more people are going to want to get out. Now, I would have loved to stay in if things were different. But at the same time, like we talked about, you really have to focus on your mental health. You have to focus on your relationships, whether it's with your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or your family, your friends, because at the end of the day, like your job, and it's not going to love you. It's not going to be there for you at the end of the night. Sometimes it won't even be there for you at the end of the week if something happens. And I think as a society, we all need to come together and have so much love for life and not hate and love for what we do. I mean, there's so much negativity out there and it's not even necessary. And we can have opinions as a whole without, hurting other people or putting things out there that are negative. And, I know I'm kind of going a little bit on a tangent, but I really think at the end of the day, we have to take care of ourselves first and foremost, but also think about kindness in other people. And if you know a friend or someone that's thinking about changing careers, sit down, talk with them, find them somebody like me who's been through it that can walk them through it. I don't think we ever should allow ourselves to ever be alone, and not be afraid to reach out people that we look up to, because there's a lot of good people out there that want to make a difference. And
Absolutely.
why I do so many talks for kids and stuff, and young women, and even guys that are like, hey, I admire what you do. Let's talk about it, because sometimes it's that one smile or that's one piece of advice that could change somebody's life for the rest of their life. And if you live every single day hoping you can do that for at least one person, then you're living your fulfilled life.
Which is definitely why I wanted to reach out to you. No question. When I saw that your experience and your history being working hard, working in different stations, I mean, it was a no-brainer to talk to you. And again, to learn about what you do in a contract role now, to have that flexibility. This is just a great way to talk to different people that's from different backgrounds, but also learning about something new that I didn't know about, and that people eventually, when the video is posted, they will learn about what you do and stuff like that. So I love your message. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it with a smile. Again, when I do touch down in Cleveland, I certainly will have to hit you up, because I definitely want to hit you up and get some more restaurants out of you too, because
Absolutely.
I'm a huge foodie. So with that being
Sounds
said,
good.
I would like to say thank you for giving me your time tonight and being able to talk to you and being able to hear your story and hear about what you do and hear about who you are. You take care, and we will certainly be in touch.
Sounds good. And go Browns.
Go Browns, especially against them Cowboys. You take care now.
You too, Chris. Thanks.